Hello, hello, hello. Checking in with chapters 17 to 21 of The Wtr Dncr by Ta Coates. 2019 novel set in a alternative U.S. During like slavery, and obviously pre any Civil War or whatever Civil War might take, whatever Civil War might look like in this universe where black people have these powers. I don't know if I've actually seen any white people with these powers. Um, Hiram, the main character, can conduct, which is sort of a teleportation, except he doesn't seem to be able to control it at this point. He is, I think that what they say is all horse, no saddle at the moment. That's how he puts it. Now, he does meet somebody, one of the great leaders of the underground, a woman called Moses, called various things. Also says, call her Harriet, which seems pretty much this is Harriet Tubman, the famous underground woman who went back and forth and back and back and back again, bringing people out of the slave South and bringing them north. In our universe, and indeed in this universe, seems to be the same case. Um, Hiram is involved in various things. The big one being in this section is Orly, one of the people of this underground movement. His wife is down in what they're terming the coffin, like deep south. Lydia, and they get papers, and they're sending one of their guys down there. And unfortunately, in this section, Hiram comes upon them and finds out that and Orly is just completely like devastated, and they know from papers that there's been two runaway slaves, taskers, and that is it Berryman? Berry has they found his body washed up on the shore, chained, his head stove in. Um, Basically, there's been brutal, quote unquote, justice done, and Lydia is lost to them. And Orly really does a good job. Uh, Coates does a really good job of having Orly kind of talk about this, of like how he wasn't really born into the he was a freeman, wasn't born into this, but Lydia is the one who kind of picked him up, made him laugh about this, and then he's angry about that, but then she made him laugh about that, um, and was able to, and she gets whipped by somebody, and he wants to go kill the guy, and it's like, no, no, this, because he's like, on my manhood, I'm gonna fucking kill that guy. It's like, this isn't about your manhood. This is about something more than just your own self-regard. There's something bigger here. Because it's just really good. It's like, and just Orly saying, like, and we are separated. We are be separated like continent apart. And it's still there. That's still that connection between us. And it really it makes it kind of hit home of the horrible, horrible thing of all these people, growing up, your mother and father could just be sold out from you and ripped apart, never ever see each other again. Yeah, it really it does the best thing of fiction, which makes you feel that. It gives you some inkling. You don't feel it, a way that historically people would have felt this, but it gives you some kind of a conception, gives you some kind of a framework for that isn't just sort of an intellectual thing. So I really, really like that about this section. I think that's like, oh, and just the whole thing of kind of just like the heroic nature of it. It's like, it's good at dramatizing that, in a way that doesn't seem fake. It's like I believe that people like this existed in our history, in our world, without magic. Um, and it was much smaller, and it wasn't like dramatic like this, but it was there, and it was as real, and it was as intense or more intense. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So hats off to Coates. This is really good section here. Um, and I guess we're going to see, what Hiram does. Hiram, who meets a girl, a young woman who's like, "Hi, Hiram. Hi, or hello, hi," and it's like, "How do you know my name?" Like, as hi. And it turns out that this is Athena's daughter, and that her mother was a warm, loving woman, not the Athena who's like kind of angry and mean and kind of hard that Hiram knew. Um, and that she had a hard father who protected them. And they were like, she just had these memories of like being like, five of us like kittens curled up in her arms. Um, and then all getting sold off, and her getting sold off to like a logging camp up up in Maryland, and everyone else going down into the coffin into the deep south, and and them going, she met a freeman who was trying to buy her off, but some guy from Texas bid more, but Moses Harriet got to her first, and she's someone who likes work, hard work. So that's why she's doing this now. And indeed, they have a whole gathering here. In this section, they have a whole gathering, and there's like all sorts of radicals. There's shaved head women who are like suffragettes. There's people talking about child labor. There's people talking about like communism. There's people talking about a spinster, talking about free love, like we should give up all marriage. That's a form of bondage too. There's a guy there with Native American talking about, basically native rights, about stealing the land that then gets you. There's a double thing where they then use bondage, people in bondage to exploit that land. Yeah, just a whole kind of I think he says like a university of different ways of living, all here in this underground meeting of the various the covert underground that's down in the south, and the extrovert, the out in the open underground that's in the north, and them meeting and talking, and that's where they get the bad news about Lydia and their agent. Yeah, yeah. So really good section, really good section here on the Wtr Dancer by Tahasi Coates. Tahasi Coates. Yeah, I'm going to go with that. I should look that up before I open my big dumb mouth in a public way to talk about the book. All right, more videos later.